Saint Antony the Great. Saint Antony the Great, also known as Saint Anthony of Egypt, is considered one of the founding fathers of Christian monasticism. Born in the 3rd century, around 251 AD, in Coma, near Heraclea, in Upper Egypt, he led an extraordinary life dedicated to asceticism, prayer, and contemplation. His life serves as a powerful example of spiritual discipline and commitment to God. Saint Antony came from a well-to-do Christian family, but tragedy struck early in his life as both of his parents died when he was around 18 years old. Left with the responsibility of caring for his younger sister, he found solace in attending church and listening to the gospel. Inspired by the teachings of Jesus, particularly the call to sell one's possessions and give to the poor, Antony decided to follow this path. Driven by a desire for a more profound spiritual life, Antony sold his family estate, distributed the proceeds among the poor, and placed his sister under the care of a convent. He then withdrew to the desert, seeking solitude and a life of asceticism. His decision to retreat to the wilderness was influenced by the Gospel of Matthew, where Jesus went into the desert to fast and pray. For the next several years, Antony lived a life of extreme asceticism in the desert, enduring intense physical and spiritual trials. He faced temptations and struggles, but his steadfast devotion to God sustained him. His ascetic practices included fasting, prayer, and physical labor. He lived in a series of caves, moving deeper into the desert to avoid the distractions of human contact. One of the most famous episodes in Saint Antony's life involves his intense spiritual battles with demonic forces. According to his biographer, Saint Athanasius, Antony experienced fierce temptations, including illusions, wild animals, and physical torments inflicted by demons. Through unwavering faith and prayer, he overcame these challenges, firmly believing that God's grace was more powerful than any force of evil. The story of Saint Antony's temptations and victories has had a profound impact on Christian spirituality, inspiring many later monastics and believers to persevere in the face of spiritual challenges. Despite his initial inclination towards a solitary life, Antony's reputation as a holy man spread, and others sought his guidance. Eventually, a community of disciples formed around him, and he became a spiritual father to many. Although he continued to live a simple and austere life, Saint Antony engaged in pastoral care, offering guidance and support to those who sought his wisdom. Recognizing the need for a structured monastic life, Antony organized his followers into a community of ascetics. This communal living arrangement marked the beginning of Christian monasticism and laid the foundation for later monastic traditions in the Eastern Orthodox and Western Christian churches. Saint Antony's teachings emphasized the importance of solitude, prayer, and detachment from worldly possessions. He encouraged his followers to live lives of simplicity, humility, and obedience to God's will. His sayings, known as the sayings of the Desert Fathers, were collected and passed down, influencing generations of monks and Christians. One of his famous sayings is, "I saw the snares that the enemy spreads out over the world, and I said groaning, what can get through from such snares? Then I heard a voice saying to me, humility." Saint Antony's fame reached even the royal courts, and he had encounters with emperors, including Constantine and his sons. Despite his humility, Antony did not hesitate to speak out against perceived violations of Christian ethics by the powerful. He openly criticized those who persecuted fellow Christians during the Arian controversy, displaying a fearless commitment to his faith. Saint Antony lived to the remarkable age of 105, a testament to the strength and discipline he gained through a life of asceticism. He died peacefully in 356 AD in his monastery on Mount Calzim. His death marked the end of an era and the beginning of his veneration as a saint. Saint Antony's feast day is celebrated on January 17 in the Eastern Orthodox Church and on January 30 in the Western Christian tradition. He is considered the father of monasticism, and his influence extends far beyond his lifetime. Monasteries dedicated to Saint Antony were established, and his spiritual legacy inspired countless individuals to pursue lives of prayer, contemplation, and service to God. Saint Antony the Great's life is a remarkable journey of faith, discipline, and devotion to God. His decision to forsake worldly comforts for a life of asceticism in the desert laid the foundation for Christian monasticism and had a profound impact on the development of Christian spirituality. Through his teachings, writings, and the example of his life, Saint Antony remains a revered figure in Christianity, symbolizing the transformative power of a life wholly dedicated to God.